For an entrepreneur, I think it's good to know and to understand the business model of a venture capitalist, how a venture capitalist really works.
Founders should, find believers, and especially in the earlier stage, find people who have an interest aligned with yours.
So to get started, the first thing that I love to do, the first segment we do on the show every week, is what I wish founders knew.
Being a founder, and I've raised six or seven venture capital rounds, and it took some time for me to understand the business model of a venture capitalist. And after I entirely understood this, it really helped me in my approach to VCs. So I really wish that founders understand the business model and the business concept and the fund model of a venture capitalist, because I think it's a symbiosis between VCs and entrepreneurs, and if each party understands and know each other better, then I think it can be helpful for the entire process.
So what's the lesson to get to know your investor?
For an entrepreneur, I think it's good to know and to understand the business model of a venture capitalist, how a venture capitalist really works, and what what needs to be accomplished, and what kind of deals a VC normally invest in, and why.
I like that a lot. Do you have any recommendations on how to learn about that?
Well, so recommendation is read some blogs and or some papers, and it's because it's rather easy, the business model of a venture capitalist.
I wanted to say that I absolutely love Olaf's points around how venture capital invests, and similar to very much everyone in the industry, I'm looking at the new funds, the sort of economics behind it, and how those decisions are made. And I think the model is simple. You're looking for companies that are really scalable. They can go through this extraordinary journey from zero or a few 100,000 of revenue in early stage to 100 million, so that you can get a very decent valuation on the company. And I think that the devil is always in the details. So for me, what I wish founders knew is the fact that as investors, you have the same struggles. You're trying to optimize for your fund and what your fund's mission is. And I think if we communicated the pressure that you have in a venture capital to deliver specific results, I think we would both come to this a lot easier. So it would be much more exciting to get to a deal.
I think that's a great point, Flavia, that you raised, and Olaf as well. I would just add to that, add a small caveat by saying, to the founders, it's very important for you to qualify your investors at the beginning. Qualify. I think, along with the business model of venture capital, I think having at least the basic knowledge from a VC fund's perspective, what is their focus in terms of sector, geography, and stage would really go a long way for you in terms of who's going to be writing that check, and who's probably going to pass. That's something I think would really help.
I know people often recommend the book Venture Deals as being one of the best for founders and potential future VCs to read. Do you guys agree with that, or have different recommendations?
100% agreed. One of the best books. Every junior in our firm has to read it. And I can highly recommend for every founder, before talking to a business angel or to a VC, read this book, and it will save you money and time.
There's an amazing book that I personally like. Maybe it's not as technical as Venture Deals, but it kind of illustrates the journey of companies and founders in the space, and it's the hard thing about hard things. I love the book, and it kind of encapsulates exactly what you have to do to get a business over the board, what your challenges will be, both as an investor and of course as a founder. So I
missed that name. I'm sorry. What was it?
The Hard Thing About Hard Things.
Okay. I've heard that one recommended before.
Yeah, so I actually really like that book and agree with that recommendation specifically for founders. And I think it's actually more important for investors to read that book, especially investors who've not been founders, to really understand and empathize with the journey of a founder. And to the point raised earlier about understanding your investor, I think more than the business model, it's just that founders should, find believers, and especially in the earlier stage, find people who have an interest aligned with yours, and so you get those people on board early, and they will be your cheerleaders and evangelizers for later stage rounds, which is also what Dominic had mentioned.